It is Tuesday, September 9, 2025. We've had a lot of news in the last week. We got Landon here. Matt is in Las Vegas now, but he did not see Las Vegas. And we're going to talk about the Mega Block first. So Landon is joining us from the ranch in Colorado.
Happy to be here, Bradford. Yeah, it's a beautiful September day. What's the song? Do you remember the 21st day of September? Best time of the year where I am. So really enjoying. You caught me on my day off, so I'm sorry I'm not wearing my suit and tie today.
Well, the velvet jacket or whatever it is, smoker jacket, like that's plenty for me. I just have the Optimus T-shirt on.
Excellent. Yeah, Optimus. Well, that's a rather important part of our future, isn't it?
So we got a hint that they might use Optimus to install Mega Blocks, but let's start with the Mega Block and start with the video that we have.
Great.
I'm a sucker for music, so that got me going pretty good. 20 megawatt hours was blowing my mind. They expand, so like one of the first bits of news we got about the Mega Block was that they were expanding the Mega Pack 2 XL so that the Mega Pack 3 was going to have 5 megawatt hours of battery storage, not just 4. And they're using a whole new type of battery, which blows my mind as well. Talking about like some two liter or 2.5 liter battery, which is like size of a half gallon, with probably LFP cells. That's a very large cell. What was going through your head as the presentation was kicking off, Landon?
Really, really exciting. Obviously it's at night. It was after dinner for us. And, we watched a little show before that. And I said, okay, it's time. The promotion, the promo video is on for Viva Las Vegas for the new Mega Pack information. Probably we didn't know Tesla Mega Block yet, but we settled in, and I'm like you. I like to get excited for these kind of things, and the music they always pick is on point. And so we're 4 or 5, 7 minutes late, something like that. But at least we get a little miniature rave in our living room while we're waiting for him to come on. And then, right into the meat of the thing. This is not just marketing. This is details. And these are great reasons for people to go to work for Tesla in Tesla Energy. They're hiring, they're looking for qualified people, technicians, and high-paying jobs. That, man, I couldn't recommend more working for Tesla in that capacity if you have that kind of experience. But when it comes to the Mega Block and the Mega Pack 3, you nailed it. Going from 4 up to 5 megawatt hours, that's really impressive on its own. But that's not just the new version there. But when you add the bus bars that they've created to eliminate the cabling and put 4 of those suckers in with a homemade Tesla-made transformer, you've got Tesla Mega Block. And this is really cool. Some people thought the event might be about a Tesla, mini pack or something that maybe is residential sized or community, subdivision sized, instead of our mega pack that is really good for the big corporations and communities together. But no, we got the big boy. We got 4 Mega Pack 3s welded together with the new technology bus bars, the new transformers that they're making. I got to tell you, Bradford, one of my former clients used to have a transformer business. And in the middle of nowhere, not near a city, he trucked copper in and he trucked transformers out, and it was a big business. And he said it was a tough business because of the price of copper. He was so closely tied profit-wise to the price of copper building transformers. It was really a boom or bust cycle for him. Tesla has the deep pockets to handle this, to smooth out the logistics, to find the copper prices when they're right. I'm really excited about the transformer part of MEGABLOCK. What did you think about that?
The transformer is a huge bottleneck in the electrical industry. There's a huge uh, backlog of transformers. Eaton, which is a big maker of phase 3 transformers, they're trying to expand their production, but they can't. Like all these transformers, there's like different custom specs. You have like, I don't know, 224 kilovolts, and you need to get it down to whatever the factory needs. You can also have like 100 kilovolts or 700. So Tesla's transformer is rated to up to 1,000,000 volts. I saw this in very faint gray. It said MV, so up to 1,000,000 volts. So this is huge because there's no additional production coming online for a couple of years. So, they can't just expand more in Texas where Eaton already has a big factory. They're building a factory in the Carolinas, but they have to wait a couple of years, and other players as well.
You're right. Well, Eaton is a big boy in the electrical business. In fact, they're really diversified across consumer products. You might go look in your your circuit breaker panel in your garage, and you might see Eaton as the name on your breakers or on the name of the panel. So they certainly have an amazing history in the electrical business. A lot of people, that's the go-to company for parts. So I'm glad to see that those are the people that are out there trying to make them. And what can Tesla learn from them? What will Tesla's first transformer look like? Will we get to version 3 before it's perfect, or will version 1 be good right out of the box?
I'm curious, like how soon we get the transformer. So it sounds like we're waiting on this Megafactory Houston to make the Megapack 3, which will especially hook into this switchgear and the transformer. There's over 100-week wait for transformers. So BR Cooper @_BR Cooper on X replied to my tweet about transformers. One project, just his latest project, there's 143-week wait time for transformers. Maybe you could bribe the company to get a little faster, but
well, we know Elon finds ways to get high demand products faster, doesn't he? I'm thinking GPUs, but so that when you said that, I wonder. He does.
Elon has a hammer, but according to Tesla, they're going to be making these or, directly sourcing them. They got like a firm commitment for supply. Another thing in transformers, you mentioned copper, is there's like the special electrical steel. The acronym for it is GOES. There's a special electrical steel. Allegedly, there's one main plant in the U.S. that makes it. So I was really excited to see the transformer, which is just a big bottleneck for demand. A lack of transformers, if you're doing a project, it creates uncertainty and it stretches out your timeline. And it's almost like you have to order the transformer as soon as you do the utility interconnect. And if you want to have a data center, you cannot wait 3 years for a transformer. You cannot. No, you absolutely cannot wait 3 years to put in a data center.
No, you can't. So you have to come up with solutions on your own. or you're waiting in line on queue with everybody else. When I was a young manager, Bradford, I complained to my general manager, and this is in the car business. This is working for Ford at a Ford dealership. I complained to my general manager. I said, these salespeople, they don't know what they're doing. They've got all these problems, and we could sell a lot more cars if we just had better salespeople. And he looked at me, he said, Landon, that's why I've got you. You're the one that needs to come up with the way to sell cars with the salespeople that we have. I think Rumsfeld had a similar quote about 20 years ago. He says, you don't go to war with the military that you wish you had. You go to war with the military that you have. And so Tesla is going to war with the military they have. If you don't have enough power, we're going to bring in whatever it takes with megapacks and provide and sustain our own power. So you're absolutely right. The world is tough out there. Everybody wants GPUs. Everybody wants transformers. Everybody wants more energy. Well, the smart can find it and make it happen. And those are the companies I want to invest in.
So you're in Colorado. I hear Denver's kind of rough and tumble. So like bring your own army. That seems like, some Wild West type of vibes right there. So some other things that were interesting. They talked about the number of batteries that will be needed in the future. They estimate 46 terawatt hours. I don't know if that includes like using hydrogen as a temporary store of energy or not. I think data centers are now 1% of GDP as far as the amount of construction that's going into data centers. I don't know if they're 1% of the energy demand, but they're saying 2030 is going to be 10% of total energy demand in the U.S. Lots of gigawatt hours of batteries coming online soon. We got a sandbag number for Tesla's current capacity with megapacks. They said that 80 gigawatt hours of capacity. I think we know that Shanghai should be 80 by itself.
Wow.
So apparently they don't have the equipment in yet. Maybe they don't have the battery supply that they need or the power electronics. One thing I really liked is that the MEGABLOCK, instead of being able to discharge all the power in 4 hours, it does it in 8. Now you lose a little bit of the arbitrage with auto bidder opportunity. Like you can't just exclusively sell to the best 4 hours or the best 2 hours because you can't send the power out that quickly from the battery. But instead now it's 8. But your bill of goods significantly drops because of that. So you need like super powerful power electronics, like a big inverter, where inverter is a pipe and it can restrict the flow of power by doing, it's electrical magic or whatever. So you don't need as good of an inverter or as many of them. So that also drops your cost.
It sure does. That vertical integration. I'm sorry, the vertical integration that Tesla's got works right into this perfectly because they can make those things. They can streamline everything needed to put those together. And I loved the part about how different this product is from other batteries you can buy. You can buy a shipping container of batteries from other companies, can't you? And so what do you get when you buy Tesla Megapack and Tesla MEGABLOCK? Well, you get the Tesla team for one, and we might not know what that means entirely when it comes to battery sales. But before we get to the Tesla team, you've got all of those Tesla-made components, and they're put together under factory conditions. They're not put together out in your dirt field with third parties arguing about what to do next or where to get the next components. So with Tesla, you get that from the factory, they drop it in, and then they support the product. What you get with your annual subscription for a Megapack and MEGABLOCK is the Tesla team monitoring 24/7, and more secret sauce that is the magic, that electrical magic that you spoke of. And of course, we're reminded of Elon's phrase that a lot of things that seem like magic are just really impressive engineering.
Mm-hmm. Technology. There's some quote about technology and magic, right?
You bet. It seems like magic to me.
Some other impressive things. So Houston, 50 gigawatt hour capacity. So it's not just 40. So it went up from 4 to 5, or from 40 to 50. The temperature range that it can operate in is anywhere on Earth, essentially. So it gets above 40 degrees Celsius in some parts of Australia. This can go to 60 degrees Celsius, minus 40 degrees Celsius. I think this can pretty much be anywhere, maybe even Antarctica.
You're right. They talked about the extremes in Saudi Arabian deserts. Well, what are we talking about here when we get Tesla engineers building this product? Because again, people build batteries all over the planet. We know how to build batteries. We've had lithium ion since 1990, and it's a mature product. So when Tesla says that they want to be the 31 flavors of batteries, that means to me that you work hard on 4680. And then you maximize the 2170 cylindrical cells that are so versatile. You've got in everything from Model 3 to performance versions to Tesla Semi using that. Then LFP enters the equation. And my point is that Tesla knows what's going on with the right battery for the right job. Those extreme temperatures, I think, are really important to have as a statistic, because that's not just what they hope to accomplish. That's not the goal. That's what they're proven to do, and that's what they'll be built for. And when you're in Katy, Texas, west of Houston, this is an industrial area. And the people there, when they smell oil, they say it smells like money. And when I've been down there lately, watching those turbines spin and the solar panels that the farmers and ranchers are using in tandem with their sheep and such, I mean, they've really bought into this technology. And Tesla headquarters in Texas continues to double down on new energy. And it doesn't matter whether it's green or renewable or whatever you want to call it. Don't listen to the marketing speak. We need energy, and we need energy of all sources. Drill, baby, drill. Go for it. We need the natural gas. We've got some coal plants that are still working. I've got friends that live right up the road here that work mining coal to this day. We need lots of energy in this company, and that means everything. And so whichever side of the aisle you think has the most important argument, maybe put that aside and realize energy, energy, energy. We need it from all sources, and that's wind and solar and natural gas. And then we plug it into a Tesla Megapack, and it's there when we need it. And we've seen in Australia, like you just mentioned, we've seen their grid that used to be weak, that used to be supported by these peaker plants that would fire up slowly, and then they cost what, $9 a kilowatt hour instead of 15 cents. That's ridiculous. You can replace that with megapacks, and we can all work together. Pick your favorite source of energy and throw it into a Tesla MEGABLOCK.
That's right. Also got some news about how quickly they could put a site up. And CERN Basher found this in 2019. Tesla was at 3 months for putting up 1 gigawatt hour battery farm. And now they're at 20 days, or 20 business days, which is 4 weeks. So essentially they're going from 13 weeks to 4 weeks, a 70% reduction in the time to install.
That time is money. We're told once and once again. It's just amazing what they can do. And we saw when they set up their big facility in Memphis, how quickly they can operate. We've seen the NVIDIA CEO's comments about how stunned he is at how quickly Tesla energy can move. And it really, really is impressive. I've seen, some recent examples, even with the new Tesla products, even with the Boring Company, creating this new technology for municipalities. There's still some red tape, and Tesla is doing everything they can on their end to make sure the slowdowns are not on Tesla. And they're working better and better with the world at getting the permits needed in a timely manner. And I'm really interested in more information on this because they talked about it last night in the MEGABLOck presentation, that they're looking to knock down barriers that slow down energy grid expansion. So I'm not sure what you think is the best way to do that, but it seems to me when you get local people saying, well, we're looking forward to starting the conversation over the next year, that's not fast enough, and it's not going to work for Tesla. Tesla's going to blow through those barriers and make it easier for everyone to succeed in the energy space.
They did talk a bit about their software and what they can do from an engineering standpoint to help them, sandbox their project and figure out what the hiccups might be so they can kind of pre-plan and work their way through it. They've been involved in many very large megapack projects throughout the world, not just Australia and the United States, but also in Europe. So they know what can happen with these projects. They know what snags can be run into, and essentially said, we got your back. And like you said, they did the whole project in Memphis with Colossus and XAI, so they can do some extreme engineering around the megapacks. Let's talk about a little disappointment for me. I know we can't say anything bad about Tesla ever, but I did see a small boxes at Lathrop. I thought those might be Power Pack 3s. They might be the transformers, but do the transformers need a Megapack 3, or can they work with 2XL? So the Power Pack 3, I think, is coming. It would work for a lot of smaller applications. Like the Megapack is a lot of batteries. I believe it's something like 400 times, or no, not quite. Like around 300 times bigger than a Powerwall.
Oh, so, man.
If you could divide a Megapack by 8 and just take a section of it, it could be 37 times bigger than a Powerwall. So you don't need like 37 Powerwalls to back up the power at a hospital, nor do you need to somehow put a Megapack on your roof or or
that's
down
right.
in the parking garage, or if you can somehow get it there. So I would have liked to have heard something about Power Pack. I'm guessing, maybe they're not, quite ready with that. I would have liked to have heard some more around some of the challenges they solved with different installs. So and maybe this happened before and after the event. So it was clear by the end of the speech that the audience was other installers of these massive projects. So utilities, engineering companies, things like that.
You got it. I'm not an insider in the electrical world, but I guess the story is that the convention center had a big energy conference, and I'm not sure who was included, but that seems like a great place for Tesla to be, as we're trying to share the news with the world that there are energy solutions. And I think it's Master Plan Part 3 that is wide-ranging, and some is criticized as quite complex. but it talks about the world's transition to sustainable energy. And so there are answers out there, and it's okay. If you don't believe it yet, we'll give you more to read, or you can wait along with everybody else. But the energy solutions are here for the future, and we don't need too many politicians telling us week in and week out what we can and can't do with our natural gas energy, our oil energy, and our wind turbine energy and our solar energy. These are our resources that we can create, and Tesla has got the solutions that are really easy to implement. And does that mean that they're inexpensive? No, but it sounds a lot less expensive in the long run than firing up those peaker plants. So again, that's what we're talking about, the usage of these products. And I'm really interested, like you are, as to where I can see these in my local community, because I notice when they built the new medical building in my town, fancy building, a lot of glass, new technology, things like that, there is back in the back by the dumpsters, there's a great big diesel generator. And that's not the kind of thing that I want to see or I need fired up in there when I'm walking by. I don't want to smell the diesel when I'm going to see my doctor. Now, maybe they don't use it that often, but I know Tesla's energy products are streamlined and better for that application. So I can't wait to see smaller products, bigger products, and we've got our cyber trucks that we love. That's what, 7 power walls right there. So there's a lot of different ways to manage your energy needs, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, you could have 5 cyber trucks that would equal a power pack 3. Yeah. Interesting. You mentioned a conference in Vegas. Somehow my mind didn't connect it to, because Tesla's event was a full day before this conference that Matt's going to be at. I think they had a dinner last night. So the timing of Tesla's event was probably, after that dinner's over. It's the perfect time for people to wander over to the Tesla event. I'm guessing they got a lot of invites. So this conference, and you can go stalk Matt over there. It's called the Yada Conference. So Yada is one level higher than Zeta. So when you're going to compute, massive levels of compute, Yada is 1,000 times bigger than Zeta. So they're talking about how to handle these data centers, how to power them, things around, with chips and data centers. So Matt's going to be at that, finding out more about the utility industry and chips. So I'm guessing what Tesla did, and this was super smart of them, was to just kind of piggyback on to the audience that's already there for that conference.
It is a powerful message that they have to tell, and that's the perfect place to do it. They were underground in a Boring Company facility in the convention. You probably remember, if you've been in that convention center, what they told us at the time before the Boring Company went in there. It took 17 minutes to walk across the convention center. And, no big deal, whatever, you got to get to the next thing that you want to see. But if you've got the Boring Company down there, you jump into a Model Y in the back seat, and less than 3 minutes and you're across the whole thing. You don't have to be that guy that's schlepping his luggage around the conference, knocking everything over, right? So Tesla and the Boring Company have got you covered there. Well, this is in one of the stations underground.
You got me thinking about the luggage with the wheels and the handle, and then you put your backpack on that, and like you knock into something and the backpack almost flies off, and you're apologizing.
They flip around to the wrong side and knocks. It's hard to look cool when you're pulling a roller bag, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
But so that's where they are. They're in that Boring Company station, and that's exactly where I wanted to see it. It's futuristic. They got the rave music, and we got the real engineers on stage. I've already read some comments that say, hey, why don't we get a professional talking head that comes out there and maybe he doesn't misspeak like Landon does every day on Spaces. We could get Ross Gerber, right? He'd look great up there. Well, no, I love it because we've got the Tesla engineers talking directly to us about the specifications. And so they know all the answers. They know the best points of the new products, and that's how I want to hear about it.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't have Elon, so that was a little sad, but then we didn't have to wait another 30 minutes for it to start. So we don't need Elon to do every announcement. It was a good event, very powerful message. I'm curious to see what comes of it in the future. So we did talk about transformers. Um, there was something about 1 million power walls before we totally leave the energy space. Um, Tesla has officially installed its 1 millionth power wall. So I think some people are doing some counters or whatever um, for their next million or something like that. I don't know what it is, but that's a lot of power walls. So that's uh, 13, 13.5 or so gigawatt hours and just power walls by themselves.
Powerwall has been a great product, Bradford. You know, I grew up in the Houston area, southeast Texas, and we had hurricanes roll through, and our power was out with the worst of them. The power is out for weeks and weeks at a time, and people are scrambling to either drive out of the area or to stay in a hotel somewhere at gouge me rates, you know, to get out of their home. Because when you're in a hurricane situation with no power, after the hurricane is over is when more and more people start to die. And they die because they don't have air conditioning, they don't have access to clean water, and it's a very dangerous situation. So when you can set up your home with Tesla Powerwall now, you put a couple of them in your garage. This is the $11,000 product that Tesla installs in your garage, and you've got battery backup power for your entire home. We buy our homes to protect our families, don't we? We want a safe place to be come hell or high water. And that means I don't want to be trying to find a Motel 6 to throw the cat and my family into when that kind of situation arises. So Powerwall has been absolutely amazing for Tesla. And there are other home batteries, but again, they do not sync the way that Tesla software makes them work. So we can take that story and just add it to Tesla and the Mega Pack and the 2XL and the 3 and the Mega Block. This is how we sustain our power in the tough times.
We're just stacking things on top of each other. I think there's some myths around how Teslas do in natural disasters. So they do quite well. So like, unlike other vehicles, you can run a Tesla in your garage um, and not like have to open the garage or whatever. You charge it up. If you're worried about a hurricane, you can charge it up to near 100. Or if you're worried about a deep freeze coming and knocking out the power, it can provide you with your heating or cooling. Could just be in your garage, even if you don't want to go try to fight the crazy disaster traffic that's there.
Well, let me ask you about that product wise for Tesla. If we're talking about vehicle to grid kind of capability that Cybertruck has through the power share system, the power walls, you can power your EVs with solar, and then you can power your home with these. Do you think that we'll see a software update that allows some modern Teslas to do this? Or do you think we're looking at a whole new vehicle architecture, like perhaps an upcoming product?
Unfortunately, I don't feel like it's a priority. It's not like something that most Tesla owners are wanting or demanding. Maybe they don't know they need it. I do think it'd be cool if they could do it. The power share as is, I think, is around. It could be like a $4,500 install. Um, so yeah, I don't know how that compares to a diesel generator, but it's. I think if they could drive down the cost of that, then maybe they could start to get some traction with it. But it seems like there's not enough people wanting it. And there's a lot of casual Tesla owners out there. So
Uh-huh.
they need to be educated on, you got this giant battery, you might as well use it.
I think of it as like the Optimus plan. Whenever I'm in X spaces, I ask people, what do you want to use the humanoid robots of the future? How will they help you in your life? And I'm setting up this straw man because I hate the answers. They say, "Oh, I want it to wash my dishes," and I'm like, "Come on, this is a $50,000 superhuman robot." Well, we wanted to do the difficult and dangerous things so we don't have to do them.
Mm.
Where am I going here? Well, I think that the power walls have been best utilized by the people that are in dangerous areas. Whether we like it or not, Southern California has wildfires, it has mudslides, it's got floods, it's got the Santa Ana winds that knock out the power and fuel those fires. And of course, all along the Gulf Coast, they know hurricanes in and out. And in the Midwest, there are the tornadoes and things. Then you
We got
got up
lots of
the north.
tornadoes in Indiana.
I bet you do. So you know those stories. So these are the people that are buying the products early and often, and perhaps we don't need them everywhere. I mean, I can't really remember the last time my power went out here. I'm lucky in that respect, but the people that need the product, they're available. Look at the Texas winters that we've had in the last couple of years with the icing and the freak snowstorms and things like that. Well, Tesla's getting involved more and more all the time, and it's not just $2.5 million mega packs that we're talking about here. We're talking about $11,000 power walls. We're talking about using Cybertruck, and these are the people that are keeping their families safe in dangerous weather areas.
Yeah, so I do like the idea of vehicle to grid. These Teslas are a tremendous asset. I think the best use for the battery is to grind them doing a ton of miles as robotaxis. That would be my preference, especially with Tesla Semi or other robotaxis. Um, so I'm a fan of vehicle to grid. I don't think the demand is quite there yet for it to really take off.
It
Um,
is early. It is early, isn't it?
so I did mention Robotaxi. We got some exciting news that uh, Tesla is trying to get set up at 3 different airports. Um, so San Francisco, San Jose, and Oakland. Right now, it's supervised. Um, they're saying it can't market as robotaxi while supervised. Waymo's already active at San Jose, even though they're not supervised. Um, so California, there's a couple topics in there. So California's being fussy with the naming. They've been anti-Tesla, even though Tesla has one of their largest factories there. They've been very unfriendly. I think they brought a suit, or they helped a suit be brought against Tesla in California around the use of the word full self-driving. I'm curious, Landon, does your Tesla drive you everywhere you want?
You're damn right it does. It's amazing. There's different parts of the world that are just a little off to the side, and I mean both sides by that politically. Germany did the same thing. Germany sued Tesla, right? You can't say full self-driving, and they've got the Mercedes that's level 3. So boy, according to the media, the Mercedes has got the advanced product, right? I even have seen some YouTubes mocking Tesla for not being level 3. But
Mm.
yes, the answer to your question is yes. My Cybertruck drove me more than 600 miles on Saturday. And I love that. I could not do that without Cybertruck. And we went across the Continental Divide, and Cybertruck FSD version 13. Man, it feels like self-driving to me. I just was watching.
Yeah, me too. So getting Robotaxi in the airport's really important. So all the travelers, it's a huge destination. Either taking family to the airport or going to the airport yourself, coming back from the airport, being able to do pickup and drop off at the airport is critical. And I hope Tesla knows the way to San Jose.
Hey, good reference. That's right. I put that Frank Sinatra version of that song on as I was driving into San Jose at the airport. So just when we were out visiting John at his ex takeover this summer in the Bay Area, we used both of those airports. I drove the Cybertruck out. I picked up my partner at San Jose, and we dropped off our pro kite flying friend Gary Marks at Blue Sky Kites. He was amazing. We took him to the airport, and he had all of his kites packed there. I can totally imagine. It's very easy to see a Model Y pulling up 2 departures to the curb. Think about the scenario for that traffic. Yeah, we know that the traffic is hectic in and around an airport, but the departures lane where you take somebody and their luggage so they can get on the plane, it's pretty smooth. There's not a lot of reasons for people to be waiting there. Arrivals, maybe that's a little different. Okay, but we'll learn the difference. And I'm eager to find out what Tesla does, what Tesla asks, because Uber has also asked airports in the last 10 years to help out with some structure. And so we have seen new technology from the airports in the form of cell phone lots, to where everybody's not just sitting on the side of the road. They sit in a cell phone lot. We've got the Uber lots, the rideshare lots, to where those people go, to where they get the traffic out of the mainstream. So I'm interested, just like you, to see in these airports in the Bay Area, they're busy, there's people in and out, but they're purpose built and they're designed to flow people and to flow traffic. So I think it'll be pretty successful. I'm interested to see what California is really asking of Tesla, or what the requirements might be. But it's great that we have Waymo involved in these other areas, also getting licensed, that kind of paves the path for Tesla. So this is not just a Tesla only thing. Autonomous vehicles are here.
You're right. So departures is more of a melee, but it is a controlled melee. In With arrivals, you have these areas where you go over to the rideshare lot. So I did a bunch of Robotaxi rides, and pickup and drop off is very important. You generally want that action away from the melee, away from the traffic and the high speed. So like there was, I'd have it take me to HEB, which is a grocery store, and it dropped me off across the street. And I was wondering, why is that? But then I looked around the intersection after it dropped me off, and there was no place for it to stop in a reasonable way. It's like a very busy street.
We're having
So
to give up a little control over our thinking like that. I know
yeah,
exactly what you mean. And a lot of times I'm the human making the mistake when I tell the computer, the Robotaxi, the FSD, that it's wrong. And I'm looking forward to getting through this time, because when you're in the back seat of an Uber, you typically don't micromanage the driver. And why is he in this lane? And why did he turn right here? You know you're going to get to your destination because you've always got to your destination with an Uber. So it's the same thing when you get near the airport, and I'm doing just like what you talked about. Like, why are we over here? What are we doing? And then you realize that around the corner, there's a traffic accident or some kind of jam up, and there's a good reason for it. So I'm trying to learn to listen to my computer instead of just telling it it's wrong. Because for most of my life, right, sometimes I've been smarter than the computer, not much anymore.
so let's trigger warning. I think we got some Orange Man coming. So we had a jobs revision. Oh, did we lose Landon? There
No,
he
I'm
is.
here.
Okay. We had a jobs revision of minus 911,000. So over the last few months or year, we've had revisions greater than 1.5 million. So when the revisions come, it's generally the data is more accurate. Um, I, I don't know if you saw this news. Did you see it? What do you think of it?
Yeah, we're out of my area here. I don't follow it. I don't have a job currently, so we gotta ask the guys that have the jobs. I'm sorry, I'm not up on it, but I hope everybody that wants a job has a job. And I always find it interesting how many people just don't want to work, find ways not to work, and choose to retire in different ways. I've done that. Elon hasn't done that, so I'm probably a disappointment to him that I'm not still in the workforce. But I'm happy to be here with you. You tell me, what should I think about it?
Well, so I'm curious about it. You were an entrepreneur, so typically, and I'm making a generalization here. Like entrepreneurs want to just like keep going forever. So what caused you to slow down and retire?
Hey, it's a great question. Well, I'm not going to, paint my own history too brightly. I've done all
Mm,
sorts of jobs, but you're right. Working with Ford, in the dealership business, people come and go. And so it's kind of funny to me when you hear about a Tesla executive that's with Tesla for 16 years and then he parts ways and somebody's like, "Oh my God, nobody can
something's
stand
wrong.
working at Tesla for longer than 16 years." That's nuts. In the car business, we had new salespeople every 30 days. We would blow out the people that couldn't sell cars in the bottom 10%, and we would bonus the people in the top 10%. So change of job is big in my life. Always worked on commission. And so I feel like, you got to be out there doing it for yourself. And the
Mm,
reason that I got out of the car business was definitely new opportunities and some people tired of me being in the car business probably. Hey,
mm,
get this a-hole out of here. He's too tough, right? Well, I was always that guy pushing people pretty hard. So I didn't make friends every day, but we
mm,
did make money, that's for sure. So I don't know. I had times in the car business where I told myself that I would probably like to have dealerships for the rest of my life, maybe make it a generational thing. But then
mm.
personally, I
Like
found the
John Ole,
flaws in.
right?
Right. That's you got it. But I found flaws in the logic, and I saw my fellow general sales managers, general managers, dealer partners, dealer principals, Bradford, and they were dying in their 50s. They were having major heart attacks because the lifestyle. I learned at a dealer academy that the statistics for a dealer principal are death by 62 years old. And I
Wow.
decided it was not going to be me. I love the business. I love cars. I love the people. I love Legacy Auto, like our good friend Josh West 247. He and I come from Legacy Auto. So we've seen the other side of the coin, and we apologize for grinding on you so hard to buy your last car. But we did have some good advice in the business. I love the car business, and that's what I love about Tesla is great products, and you get the great customer service. Maybe you're used to having 30 salespeople jump on you the minute you drive onto a dealership lot. Have you ever seen that? Well, you don't get that at Tesla, and so maybe people complain both ways. Oh, I
Yeah.
just want to be left alone and don't bother me. And then if we don't wait on them, they say, "Oh, nobody helped me." But at a Tesla, at a gallery or online, it's easy to buy. And that's what we always tried to do in dealerships is really just make it easy.
Mhm. What I wish the government would do with these jobs numbers is I wish they would use ADP and other services like the payroll services, like get the data from them, get the actual payroll data. Now, I know there's people who are seasonal that get paid cash, like it's off the books or whatever. But for all the people that are on the books, the government shouldn't be sitting there estimating it just get the actual data. Like the actual data exists. They can either buy it or they can put their heavy hand down and say, it's a matter of national importance or whatever. But I wish they just did that so you didn't have these crazy revisions. And there's all these seasonal adjustments they make to all these different numbers. Like, let's just stop doing that and just let people face the numbers how they are.
We have so much appetite these days. Many of us have a huge appetite for how technology can make our lives better. And so when we look at the things like this, the way the government reports this, the way the government taxes us, the way we vote, these things are really under fire, some people believe, by technology. But the data is important, and we have to ask ourselves, do we want the historical old ways because they seem stable, or do we want some of the technology? Because when the technology works and gives us the accurate data, we can make better decisions, can't we?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I don't care if it's government or jobs or technology or corporations or poker. It's about information, and the people with the fastest, best information win.
So I'm curious, like you're wise and you use data well. So you went to this dealer convention or seminar or whatever, you found out about, the the age that car dealer principals die. Like, did you call your partner that same day tell me more about that? Because like, that's about like taking data and doing something with it immediately. And I think that's
No,
like,
it had
that's,
to be a secret. No, I didn't take that to him because he was that age. But
uh,
when you sometimes the way dealerships are set up is the main guy is not always present. Some are really hands-on, and most of my time was as a general manager. And so I love to be hands-on, and if the dealer could actually get out of the dealership, then he lives longer and spends time with his family. But getting into personality types is something that I've really loved in psychology, and
mm,
a lot of dealer principles. If it's a patriarch type dealership, I'm not talking about a big corporation, but if
right.
it's a patriarch, then that guy is usually a hands-on type A personality, just grabbing something off the 99-cent menu every day so he can get in front of another customer. And my dealer wasn't exactly like that, so he's still alive to this day. He probably
Mm.
knew some of that, but no, I wasn't going to go back and tell him, hey, I'm about done here. But it was good information to
What I
have.
meant, what
And
I meant by your partner is like your family.
oh yeah, that's right. Different times. The car business cost me a marriage or two, and I'm sure sorry to those lovely women that I put through those 80-hour weeks. But when we're blowing and going, that's fun, and you're making money. You make money when the hay shine, when the sun shines, right? Make
Yeah.
hay when the sun shines. So that was an early part of my life. My current partner is really supportive, and she likes to watch me in retirement, so that's a different
Yeah.
story.
All right. So Elon's comp package, Matt and I went live shortly after we saw it Friday. So it's only been about 4 days. So I'm going to try that one there. Um, so it's got some big numbers, but the numbers only get really big if Elon creates a lot of value for everyone else. So right now Tesla is a $1 trillion company. Um, and if Elon, creates that value, if Team Tesla creates that value, then there'll be 7.5 trillion that's not there today. Um, and Elon may pay a ton of taxes. There may be other shareholders that pay a lot of taxes. I'll get into that in a second, but I'm curious, when you saw the package and then you thought about it and you thought twice about it and maybe a third time, uh, what did you what conclusions did you come to? What were some of your insights?
This, in my opinion, my educated pay plan opinion, is the epitome of commission. And this is excellent. We're not all set up for being on commission, are we? I mean, people, there's some great government jobs that give people legitimate stability that is needed, benefits. I'm not looking down my nose at people that are on salary or people that work hard every day hourly. Being on commission is a little different. You are part of the risk. You're part of the risk. I created so many pay plans for different dealership managers, and I love this style of pay plan. And so let's be clear right from the start. Elon didn't get anything. The board of directors worked with Elon to come up with legitimate, outlandish, in some cases seeming, goals for the corporation that is Tesla. This is more about Tesla than it is about Elon, in my opinion, because right now and for years, Tesla has been Elon. Now that's changing, and I'd love to talk with you on another call about regime change or the future of Tesla after Elon, because unless he becomes immortal, we're going to have to deal with that. Oh, I don't know, maybe in about 60 years, he'll be 110. We're going to have a new guy at some point. I'm joking because we're talking about a 10-year plan. But my point is, this isn't his compensation for the past, and it's not a paycheck that he gets every week like we have in our careers, or 2 weeks or monthly or hourly. This is what Tesla is going to accomplish in the next 10 years. And how do we know that, or how do we guess? Well, look at sports. There are a lot of educated people and hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars actually, in sports betting. How do you make money in sports betting? You get involved in the details, and you predict what's going to happen next. And Elon is in the business of predicting what's going to happen next by creating it. And that's what I'm so excited to see about builders that build in this economy, in our world today, because he is doing the things that make our lives better today, tomorrow, and in the future generations, I firmly believe. So what do we do with a pay plan or a compensation plan? Well, it's got different tiers, or you can call them tranches, or different things that he can do. But if it's 10 years from today and he hasn't done them, he's going to make the same amount that he's made in the last 5 or 7 years, which is zero. No money, not trillions, not billions, not millions, nothing. And I love it because he's negotiating with the board of directors. He stepped out for the deliberations, we're told, per SEC rules. He followed all the guidelines. So he didn't create this pay plan, but he was involved. And so he's not blindsided by any of these details. He doesn't think any of these details are wrong or backwards. These are the details that he will accomplish to take us into the future. And the only question I have is, how close to the 10 years is it actually going to take? Because it didn't take 10 years for the last plan, and it didn't take 10 years for the first plan.
Yep. The 2018 plan, I think, was fully earned around 2020, maybe 2021.
Yeah, I think it was 3 years at the most, right? It's unbelievable. In COVID.
He had 10 years to do it. Yeah. So short sidetrack, and I think we'll go for about 10 more minutes because I think there's a lot here. I just created a 10-year vision for my company. This was before the pay package for Elon. And we're going to 10x our business by 10xing all these different areas where we can automate and just bring a lot more efficiency and speed, which enables us to just be more for our clients, but also do better research, be able to dig into things, have better insight. So I agree with you. I think it'll happen faster. And I feel like there's some criticism of the plan where they said, well, this would be too easy for Elon to achieve. So, one of the things was 20 million Tesla vehicles. And you got to read the fine print as far as, what they count as far as how many delivered. So it's not in 1 year, it's cumulative. And the clock already started. So I feel like that maybe was more like a base package, but he has to combine that with doubling the value of the stock. So like if Tesla sales just kind of dwindled from here, stayed under 2 million, and he ended up getting that 20 million, let's say that, the math checks out on that. The stock really wouldn't go anywhere. Like, and let's say you're not solving robotaxis, you're not meeting that, you're not solving Optimus, you're not, FSD subscriptions aren't like 10 million a month, so you're not doing any of that. Like the stock isn't going to double if you just cumulatively deliver 20 million vehicles. So Elon wouldn't even earn that.
That's right. That's right. There are things that say in this pay plan, keep your eye on automotive. So, what Tesla bulls are fond of saying, well, Tesla's not a car company anymore. Well, that doesn't mean that you dismiss Tesla Automotive selling $2 million 2 million cars a year, perhaps. So you're right. I think of that as a base level part, getting to 20 million Teslas on the road. But I love the other parts with FSD. Tesla full self-driving is currently out of beta in a supervised capacity in your Tesla, in my Tesla, and in, millions of other Teslas. They are all rolling out of the factory with the capability built in. Now the user can subscribe for $100 a month, and that's your personal chauffeur. Right now, you sit behind the wheel and you make sure it follows the navigation the way you want it to. That's your supervising right now. We think we'll be moving into unsupervised soon. And then the third method that you have is purchasing FSD as the package for cash or financing in your vehicle when you get it. So we need to have 10 million active users. And I think it's something about a rolling, 3-month average or a rolling 1 year. I can't remember what the details on that was, but I love the idea of incentivizing full self-driving because this will save lives. We've seen this save lives. You don't have to convince us, but what we have to do is find the next people along the technology curve that are interested in buying the safety. What did we have in years past? Volvo, right? They're boxy, but they're good, is what was said was on Seinfeld's joke. And the Volvos, but the people that were interested in safety that had the money would buy the Volvos. So that's the early part of the technology curve, and the safety curve is similar. I think we'll see more and more buying in. And so now Elon has this direct goal in his potential incentive to get there. And that's really cool because there has been some criticism. I don't really understand it, but I don't understand why FSD is expensive at $99. Do you remember the time that it was $199? Maybe when it is unsupervised and you can sit in the back seat, or you can have a cocktail, or you can fall asleep, maybe it's more expensive. But this is very important to Tesla's bottom line in the future. And of course, it's the same software that we're seeing in Robotaxi and we'll have in Cybercab. So look at the way that the board of directors and Elon, things that are important for Tesla's future, not just the stock price this or the cap value that. I like to see the tangible activities that Elon can focus on to make the Tesla automotive go as well as everything else.
I'm just watching the clouds behind you, Landon, and like it looks like, moment to moment, it looks like it's fake, but like they just keep rolling around, and you got them in front of you and behind you, and You got the barn over there?
Yeah, it's this. If you're not happy with the Colorado weather, just wait a few minutes and it'll change. I've already had a torrential downpour. I've had below 50-degree temperatures, and now I think it's over 80. So we got it all in the mountains. I love it.
So back to the pay package. We think that the value of Tesla, it may be worth like 4 times where it is today. Just if they solve Robotaxi, so that'd be around $4 trillion, maybe a little more than that. But I don't think necessarily like the stock stops at 4 trillion. And if Tesla is a big player in Optimus, and this is not financial advice, I am a financial advisor, and this is my opinion. Do your own research for entertainment purposes only. Trade at your own risk.
On the roads of Mexico, yes, I know all the caveats, of course.
Yeah. So, if they're a major player with humanoid robots, then potentially that could be worth 25 trillion in valuation. So you're looking at potentially 30 trillion in valuation, but the pay package tops off at 8.5. So the stock doesn't need to stop there just because that's where the pay package ends, right?
One of my most favorite tweets of all time about the Tesla Q, the bears, is halt the stock, what the F, right? So no, they're not going to stop, they're not going to halt the stock, and it's anybody's guess.
What Landon is referring to is in 2020 when the stock was just shooting up like this in January. The people who were shorting the stock and calling Tesla and Elon a fraud, they were saying that the SEC should step in and halt Tesla stock, that it was fake.
Those days are coming again. I'm not currently a financial advisor, so I can speak with a little more freedom. But again, it's the same thing. Find companies that you love. Do you think I'm a kook for being this excited about Tesla? This is how I live my life every day. This is how I'm talking to my partner at night after dinner, because I'm trying to tell people that this can be your future, that you don't have to put your money into stocks that you don't understand. You can buy Tesla stock and you can experience the products, the hardware, the software, the energy storage. And coming up next are the absolute off the chart things. You don't even have to believe in those things in order to get rich and support your Tesla in a really fun lifestyle. And anybody can do it. I've seen used Tesla Model 3s, Bradford, for $12,000 on the used car market that have FSD. So you can jump in that car and commute almost for free, plugging in overnight. I can go on and on, but these are the reasons we support Tesla. And for the stock to stop at a certain level because Elon hits all the numbers is just not in my reality. It's not in Elon's reality. I'm worried that people don't do not buy in because the numbers seem too big. What does $1 trillion mean? What does $1 billion mean? I don't even know. It's intangible at some point. So what it means in the real world is sustainable abundance. It means we have more time to take care of our family because we can send a bot to do something that we didn't want to do in the first place. And this is how we are all going to get there in the future, is through Tesla Energy Products and Tesla Robotics and Tesla FSD. FSD is in the humanoid robot. So when I get excited about these numbers, I don't understand what 8 trillion or 25 trillion means. I just don't know what that number means. Yes, I know how to calculate it, but it's very difficult to wrap my head around it or my checkbook around it. So don't worry about one man is going to get this. Worry about what you can do for your family to get that money. You can get that cheddar, you can make that paper, and you can do it through Tesla.
Don't let Elon have all the fun and all the profits. There's nothing keeping anyone from buying some shares of Tesla and getting some of that upside, if provided it happens. I do have to caveat. So there's going to be a lot of benefit to society. So I wanted to also mention this, is that, Elon would pay a ton in taxes. If his package ends up being worth $1 trillion, he's going to pay.
Well, the government will like that, won't they? I mean, hey, Elon is our best friend. He's the largest single taxpayer in the U.S. history. I don't know if I've seen that on the front page of USA Today, but what would this new pay plan, depending on how he hits it and how you calculate it, Elon could have up to a $400 billion personal tax bill. I mean, the government can start making different plans with how they pay off the debt or what new components go into our military when you've got one guy contributing up to $400 billion. He's already done, 18 billion. So this should be the guy that we're all backing, because he doesn't get the money unless we get the products and unless we get the stock performance and unless we get the future that we all want anyway.
And if the stock goes up to 8.5 trillion, there will be, beyond Elon and the current value of the stock, there'll be 6.5 trillion in created value. And on that, you have capital gains, and you have, when you pull money out of IRA accounts, you pay a full income rate on that. So, over time, people want to get their money into a Roth IRA probably, and there's, strategies that we have at Rebellionaire for doing that. But, let's pretend there's no Roth IRAs for a moment. That's a lot of money in taxes that's going to be paid by other shareholders, easily $2 trillion. So Elon's going to get $1 trillion, and U.S. taxpayers or the U.S. government's going to get 2.6 trillion in tax money. So the benefit to society is immense, and it's much higher than the 600 billion that Elon's going to take after tax.
What is the government going to do with all that? Where's that tax code reform that some of us are interested in? But you're right, it's a lot of money, and it's money for America by American company that has American workers. And you and I have toured those factories, Bradford, and the people with the smiles on their faces as they got the wrenches in one hand and they're waving to us as we walk by the assembly line. These people are happy in their jobs, they're making good money, and they are buying the Tesla stock. Elon has said time and time again, I want the employees to be able to buy the stock at a good deal. And the more he says that, the more I see these employees investing. And I know some of the early Tesla millionaires. These are the guys that built the Roadster in 2008 and the people that worked in the service centers years ago. And the next wave happened with the Tesla employees that built the Model 3 and the Model Y. And now there's new Tesla factories around the world, and those people are building vehicles and building energy products. But here in America, all of the money we're talking about stays in America to be spent by Americans on hopefully other American products. And that's important to me. I like our economy first and foremost. Let's go.
Yeah, I've met a Tesla employee who worked as a janitor and had $1 million in Tesla stock. So, it's real. So I'm Bradford Ferguson. He's at Landon of the West in Colorado, formerly West Tesla-rado, which was too much and too obscure. So he changed it wisely. Man of wisdom. So, glad you retired from the car business and weren't retired by the car business. I'm in Carmel, Indiana, home of the roundabouts, but also brick buildings are mandated in Carmel. So if you have a commercial building, the first floor has to be brick and all that. You got me fired up about Tesla. I'm ready to run through one of those brick walls. Let's go. I'm excited. We got the Mega Block, and it was a block party today. I greatly enjoyed it, Landon, and
Very
glad
good.
to have you.
Just reminding everybody, do like Elon. Don't just wait for the future. Make the future that you want. You can do it.
No need to wait. I'm Bradford Ferguson. He's Landon, and bye for now.